On today's episode of the McCann Dogs Podcast,
we have a party in the studio today. Instructor Carol, Instructor Steve, the infamous Instructor Swanee. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Instructor Shannon.
Just I just do this. I'm just gonna do this. Poor
Steve's
Swanee.
on my side.
Steve's poking me.
No crossing this line.
That's line, yes.
That line right there.
Steve's misbehaving here in the podcast studio. Okay, we are at the word association part of our podcast. So, what
do we
I'm
just
going
shout
to
out
do,
the first word?
Yeah, I'm going to throw. Let's choose some words.
Swanee.
Barney.
Apple.
Swanee.
What?
Are they going to be any words? They're going to be dog words.
Barney. It's the first thing that came to my head.
Okay.
All right, word association here. So, stubborn. Carol.
Wrong.
Carol's not stubborn.
Wrong.
What do you? Okay. How so?
So people say their dogs are stubborn. And I used to joke my potbelly pig was stubborn because you get the image of pigs being stubborn. So I would say strong-willed. It's no different, which I love in dogs, as a matter of fact. Same as people don't like wishy-washy leaders, right? I like a dog that knows what it wants. And really, people who see their dogs as stubborn, dogs do what's rewarding, but we do too. How many times have people said, I'm not going to eat any more junk food. And then you eat it within hours.
This is so
or
good.
I'm going to go to the gym every day, but then, I'll go tomorrow, right? We do what's rewarding. That's why habits are hard to break.
Yes. And it takes an average of 6 weeks to create a new habit. So keep that in mind. If there's something that you're trying to come back from with your dog, give it time, help them with that time. Just like we would need to give it time if we're trying to stick to that diet or go to the gym. And I love that analogy. It's so bang on.
And dogs are tenacious.
Yes.
So, well, not all dogs, but most dogs are tenacious. So if they've developed a habit and it's in their genetics too to keep at it, you have even more of a problem.
And they're great problem solvers, right?
Yeah.
So, and those little differences, I still remember my first dog, Fred the pig. We had him, he sat on my lap on the way home. We didn't know anything about crates and safety at that time. Now that's awful, but so he was sitting on my lap. So then we had taken the back seat out of the van and put down some blankets for the next trip, right? He's not going to ride on our laps for the whole time. So at the next trip, he obviously thought, no, it's more rewarding being up front because he immediately, this little piglet jumping over the seat into the front seat. It's no, you will ride back there. So he did it about 10 times. And then you'd think he settled. He would sort of look away. And then the minute I'd move my arm, he was back over again. It was just like, oh my gosh, stubborn as a pig is a very true thing. But he found that rewarding. But he could tell, I'm not paying attention anymore. And I'm successful at getting across when she's not really with it, right? But, so now I have to put the value. So that was rewarding. So one, I now know about a crate, but it was how do we put value for remaining back there?
Yeah, absolutely. And if everybody's in the front, why on earth would I want to be alone in the back of the car? My goodness. All right, Stephen, crate guilt.
Oh, truth. People feel so guilty about it. And I get it. I get we want to have this relationship with this puppy, this little being that we're trying to develop. And then it's like in there in little puppy jail. And like, it's so teary.
Puppy jail.
Oh.
But forget about it.
Yeah.
It you need to forget about it. And my response, because it comes up all the time. I had the conversation today with a student with that little Maltipoo, wonderful little dog. My question back is, what do you want the dog to be doing when they're out of the house with you? What is your goal? Because again, if we know what we're working towards, the steps along the way will make sense. Because all people see in the moment is I'm separated from my puppy. My puppy's upset. My puppy's got FOMO. They're in the back of the van. Yeah. I'm in the front. Everybody's answer is, well, I just want my puppy to hang out with me. Like, yep, your puppy will get there, but they're not there yet.
That's exactly it. We're this instant gratification society, and people expect things to be at finished product before they really understand how to get all the steps and stages.
Exactly. And do my dogs hang out on the couch and come up to my son's bedroom for reading stories? Absolutely they do. Once they know the rules.
Yes.
But until that happens, those controls are in place so that both my son is safe, the puppy's safe, all those things happen. Yeah. Yep. There's a little discomfort from time to time where maybe we're eating lunch or dinner or whatever. I'm like, oh, it's really cute. I want to let it out. But you kind of just have to put that aside for now. It's all for now.
Yes. You picture what you want, but what you're going to get if the dog has freedom is counter surfing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
you're gonna end up
eliminating
having to
and
tell the puppy
cueing.
they're wrong for doing
Right.
puppy
Yes.
things. So yes, I get crate guilt. It is absolutely a thing. There's truth to it. Everybody feels that. I feel that
Yes.
way from time to time.
Of course.
But there's a greater purpose.
Yeah,
And there's a
absolutely.
greater goal in mind.
Absolutely. And remember that when you're putting your puppy away in the crate, you're meeting their needs first.
Yeah.
You're not putting them in there and they just live in there for their entire lives. We bring them out. We play with them. We interact. We meet all those needs. We do some training. We just spend time tiring their brain and their body. And then they go away for a nap, and puppies really need that rest.
And I would also go one further too, because having had as many giant breed dogs as I've had, they're very different as puppies. And there's, talked about individual dogs earlier, Carol. They're not like a lot of other dogs. There's so much energy to go into growing that most of them at like 15 weeks are pretty chilled out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they're sleeping, but they're sleeping because all that energy is making them
They
bigger.
need it.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
oftentimes those personalities in some of those dogs can lull us into a bit of a false sense of security. And I've even, had to kind of go back to myself, the puppy would be asleep. My last one, Sky, you guys know, when she was a puppy, she was the quietest mouse in the house. She just slept, but I had to go, nope, you're going to go in your little crate.
Yeah.
It's that
exactly.
conscious decision to say, no, this is how life is right now. So even when you have that sort of more biddable dog, take that second to pop them in the crate, let them sleep there. That is their safe, quiet place. That will pay off in the long run.
It will, for so many reasons.
Yep.
And we have a bazillion crate training videos that we can help you figure out those reasons with on our YouTube channel. And we've also talked quite a bit about crate training in the podcast. So
It's true for the opposite, right? So the chill dogs, you think they don't need it, but so many people with busy dogs think, oh, he doesn't like it in the crate because they're the
Yeah.
ones that tend to be bratty and want to bark.
Yeah, they're the ones
But
that need it the
they're
most.
ones-
Yes.
Yeah, one, they're going to
Yes.
get into
Yeah.
everything and they're probably unsafe. But two, they're not going to learn how to relax. And then that's how you get some of these dogs that get so anxious or neurotic. They don't know how to chill.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Right.
it's worth working through it, not just saying, oh, they don't like it, so I'm going to let them be free.
yeah, absolutely. All right, Swanee, motivator or reward?
Oh, motivator or reward?
Yeah, just something that is light and rewarding. Let's just say
Oh,
reward.
a reward.
I don't need to complicate things.
It could be play, toys, the dog's favorite toy.
Not just food.
Not just food, not just food. No,
food.
and
Excellent.
same with your motivator. It could be a toy. It could be your voice. People rely on food far too much.
Yes.
We don't always have food with us. We always have our voice with us. We always have play with us.
Yeah.
We can always stop and play with our dogs.
Yeah.
So, try to use yourself and what you have within you to really motivate and reward your dog as well as using the food.
I love that. I think a lot of the times when we say reward, people automatically go to food in their head, and then that becomes this confused thing where it's always got to be food, and that is so far from the truth. A reward is anything that the dog likes. It's anything that the dog thinks, oh, I really enjoyed that, and that was really worthwhile turning on my name because I got a great butt scratch out of it, or whatever the case may be. Ned loves butt scratches, so that's always the example I use. Carol, the I'll fix it later attitude.
Ooh, that's one that's easy to get into.
Yeah.
I remember having Earl, who was 10 months when I got him, and he would eliminate in the crate because as a puppy, he was kept in a crate and nobody let him out, so he'd learn to go. And it was one of those, oh yeah, it was just an accident. Oh, I didn't get him out in time.
And Great Danes can go a lot too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I think a lot of times when there's something and it means work, again, people do what's rewarding, just like dogs.
Yes.
Not that we're stubborn, but we do what's rewarding. So I think it's easy to say I'm going to fix it, but really, whenever there's an issue, you'd said we should face it head on. One, when we're frustrated with our dogs, I don't know what you guys, I feel better when I have a plan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When
Yes.
there's a problem, if I'm not sure what to deal with it, once I've got that plan and working through it, and it's, that's where I hate when people use the word stubborn because stubborn suggests the dog's bad or wrong.
They're consciously deciding not
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that now that would tend to prompt people to be mad or harsh or correct when, more likely I need to manage and create value for something else.
Our dogs
Perfect.
never plot against us.
No, they
No,
don't.
never. So, yes.
I am going to actually change tactic a little bit because I feel like
okay.
this is just going too politely, and I want to have more gut reactions from you guys.
Okay.
So our word association, I'm just going to yell out words and just
yell
yell back
now.
at me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just respond
Stop it,
back
Shannon.
with
Stop
whatever
it.
comes to mind.
Oh my goodness.
First. And we'll go from there. If I
Okay.
need to rein you guys in a little bit, I'll do that. But
Okay.
I just want to throw these things out there and see how
Okay,
it
I'm ready.
goes.
I'm ready.
All right,
I'm
ready?
I'm ready. Purple.
Retractable leash.
Oh, no.
See, that was the perfection I was going for.
Yes.
Exactly.
gosh.
You guys nailed it.
That's
All
funny.
right. So, Swanee, why no?
They only lead to bad things.
Bad thing.
It's true.
Right. They're only good for like, an elderly, because they teach the dog to pull.
Yes.
Basically, it's tension. So the dog has to pull against the tension. Just letting the dog pull.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. What else, Steve? Why not?
Well-
Why not retractable leashes?
Well, I feel now I have to make a confession.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of us use retractable leashes for specific
I do.
No, I
context
think
stuff.
he has shares in them. He has shares in the flexiline company.
No, I wish actually, because I mean, oh my gosh, the money. Anyway. No, I actually do use them. I use them on my older dog when she's out and we're walking on a harness. So I live where there's leash laws and I respect leash laws. I have my dogs leashed. But she, like even my younger dog, they listen really, really well. But I just want her to kind of dawdle along. Now I use it on the harness so that she doesn't learn to pull on the collar. It's very specific. When people are coming by, of course, she's in close. It's locked off at that point. So there is a time to use them. But as Swanee says, and as Carol alluded to, which I'm sure she's going to expand on, they're not the thing to use.
Absolutely.
So there is a time and place. Would I go to the vets and have that dog go screaming through the door and tangle it? No, 100% not.
And that's the most common. That's the most common thing that
It's the
people
most
do
common
with them.
application.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, let
Exactly.
the dog out to the end of the
So
leash.
I feel better that I got that off my chest, though.
Good. I'm glad that you do. They can be good tools for the right spaces
Absolutely.
and for the right dog. And I would say I want to have good verbal control or good control of my dog before I put any sort of retractable leash on.
Absolutely.
Carol, anything to add to that? Retractable leash.
Yes, stupid. Just a frustration because I see so many dogs, and even on my property, I have one that comes on about 20. We discussed that the other day, right? 20 feet on, and drives my dogs insane. With this dog looking at them and staring at them, and so many people do that. They're not good with the management of the leash, especially if the dog sees something. So one, I find, they're walking along and suddenly there's another person or dog, and suddenly now you're being disrespectful to those people. I don't ever want to allow my dog to bother someone else or to be right on their property. So that's one thing I see. The other thing is Steve does it with a trained dog, but with an untrained young dog, we give them no information. We teach them to pull, but we're also not showing them what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have a YouTube video that we released a few months ago about retractable leash, when it's okay, and what sort of skills you should have in place before you consider using a retractable leash. All right, next word, Zoomies.
Fun.
Love them.
Steve's doing one right now in the studio. Carol, I didn't hear anything from you.
It's all I could think of was my potbelly pig doing a Zoomie.
Oh my goodness. Do you have that on video somewhere?
You know what? I don't. I have two of the animals that have probably had the best Zoomies ever.
Oh my
When
goodness.
Fred did it, it's funny, now I know. So when dog owners sort of say, I don't know why my dog does this weird thing at night, I still remember I'm sitting on the floor reading the newspaper. Fred's on the floor standing beside me. Steve's sitting in a chair reading. It's in the evening.
That's not me, by the way, just to qualify.
That's right. So,
Just qualifying.
Yes. So Fred suddenly just jumps straight up in the air for about a foot or two. And while he's up there, he spins 360 degrees. So pretty athletic for a pig. And it happened so quickly. And then he just takes off, and we had a small, it wouldn't be much bigger than this room, and he's like bombing back and forth. I think once he slipped, he hit the wall, and I'm like,
And you thought, the devil's got that pig.
I'm like, I said, what's he doing? Is he having a seizure? And my husband says, I think he's playing. And I had never seen that. And now I would get a video of it. And then the other one was Earl, my Great Dane, because seeing 100-pound
I remember
dog,
him doing Zoomies.
I remember, and I remember people in class saying, hey, whenever we stand out to the way, can you ask him? Because I put it on command, tell him go wild, and seeing this giant dog booming around.
I remember. So fun. They were so fun. Alrighty. When somebody says, leave it.
Oh, it makes me cringe. It makes me cringe.
Makes me
Right,
clench.
yes.
It's hard on my teeth.
Yeah. If you have to say it more than once, it's not working.
Same thing like sit.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, too. Actually, you know what? It's true of all commands.
Or the
Spot,
worst.
spot, the name over and over.
Or
again.
the worst, sit down. It drives me nuts.
What about stand up?
Stand up is just different because sit down, like up is not generally a command. Sit and down are commands. The dog's like, which one do you want?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying both.
trying
but
both.
You're talking too quickly.
Or when they're jumping up and the person's yelling down.
Yeah,
It's like, well, what do you want? Like,
That's why I went through my phase when I was teaching that I gave everything weird commands.
Oh.
Because people do that because they think the dog understands. So we'll say it again and again.
Yes.
But the dog, because we all know what the word sit means or leave it
Yep.
means. But if we use the word table, we don't expect the dog to know table means leave that thing.
Right.
So, yeah, I went through a phase where all of my students would have had these really weird commands.
I'm going to keep my command a secret so nobody can use it and overuse it with my dog. Okay. Next one. They'll grow out of that.
Oh, please. Just don't.
pipe dream.
So what do you think about that, Steve? Do
Well-
dogs grow out of bad behavior?
Certain bad behaviors I feel may lessen as they mature. And a lot of them tend to be the emotional control ones. They really, really do. But does the dog really know they shouldn't do something that we don't want? No. And oftentimes because we put it off, like I'll wait till later, that example, it's just an ignoring of something that if you just address it and let them know I don't like that, here's what I would prefer instead, then they will learn to do it. But I tend to find that's the thing. And a lot of people sort of think, especially it's the emotional control stuff, the crazy, the zoomies, the jumping. Those are the ones that they tend to say will grow along with the nipping and biting thing. Like, oh, they don't bite when they're older.
The problem is so many of those behaviors are self-rewarding.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So even though they gain the impulse control, they've now been rewarded for jumping or biting.
And it
or
still
digging.
comes up.
Yeah.
And it just comes up more because we have a bigger, stronger, faster dog that's going to do it more intensely.
Yeah,
and I know, just looking at the four of us, none of us have ever outgrown our bad behaviors.
Oh, gosh, no.
Don't tell anybody that.
That might be the best point that has ever been made on the McCann Dogs podcast. So truly, I mean, unless it is something that is so specifically related to a puppy, they're not going to grow out of it. They're actually going to get better at it because my next word on the list is rehearsal.
Stop it. Stop it.
Exactly.
Just stop it.
What gets practiced is what will end up being perfect. And that is true of all of it, not just the things that we want our dogs to get better at. So always keep that in mind. All right.
One thing I like to say is when I see my dogs and they're doing something naughty and it's like, okay, I'm shutting this down. It's getting shut down right now.
Just right
Shut
now.
it down.
I love it. And that is the best attitude to have. Figure out a way to change that behavior. You know, we have all sorts of things that we do to teach other behaviors. We can physically manage things. We can do something to change the behavior rather than just hoping that eventually it will change on its own. Hyperdog.
Yes.
I like it. I like it.
Swanee.
Well, I like calmness. So
like
hyper dog is thing of my past.
Swanee's grown to be more reserved now.
I know.
I think in her past she wanted the hyper dog.
Oh, it's
Yes,
true.
I did.
But
I
now
did.
She's all the living with her Malinois.
she's
in her
much more
20s.
refined now.
Now
She
I
goes,
like
"No, I don't."
I'm just peaceful and chill.
Okay.
Peace. So how do you ensure that you get peaceful and chill dog companions?
Well, the last breeds that I've chosen, the last 3 breeds I've chosen have been peaceful dogs.
Perfect. That is so wise. One of the first decisions you make is what dog you're going to bring into your life, and making sure it matches your lifestyle is such a crucial component. We actually have a What Breed of Dog is Best for You podcast that we published a couple of months ago. So go on back in the McCann Dogs podcast archives and have a listen to that. And I think that it will really help guide you in the direction that will work with your dog. Okay, so
The other thing, though, is my pet peeve. That
What's that?
people, because they have a dog, so they get a herding dog or a Jack Russell, oh, it's because he's this.
They use it as an
Yeah.
excuse.
It's an excuse, and they don't change it. One of the few times I've posted it on a thread in Facebook was somebody that had a Jack Russell that had was biting, and I was looking at the advice, and normally it's just like, don't say anything.
Yeah.
But so many people
And
talked
normally
about
don't read the other
harsh-
Facebook advice.
Yeah.
Because, oh my goodness.
it was like harsh corrections, or it's a Jack Russell, so just accept it. It's like,
No.
no, you don't need to accept that from any dog
Right.
just because they're a Jack. But I find so many people think they have a sight hound, so it's never going to respond, you know.
Yeah, you can't let it off leash. It's going to run
Yeah.
after everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
No.
you can train all those, or a beagle's going to sniff and not pay attention. So I find so many people say it's this breed, so I'm just going to tolerate that behavior.
Yeah, and you don't have to. You definitely don't have to. Breed tendencies count for a ton, but they shouldn't be used as an excuse. So try to find the right match to begin with, and then from there, you can mold and shape them how you
And don't
want.
be
Yeah.
surprised when those breed
Yeah,
tendencies pick up.
exactly.
Like people go, I don't know why they're doing that. Well, because
Yeah.
they're a border collie and they're going to hurt everything.
Yes.
Like, what
Yeah.
did you expect? So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Border collies herd, sporting dogs steal. It's the way it goes. And we have all sorts of tactics to help work around those things and
Absolutely.
make
And
them
embrace
work
them
for
and
us.
make, and yeah, exactly. Make them work for us. I love
Yes,
that.
absolutely. One of the best things that I love about Ned is I can always tell when he's in his happy state because he's looking for something to put in his mouth. You know, so I've taught him to steal the right things. I've directed that behavior when he was a puppy so that he would steal, quote unquote,
Yeah.
the right things and like the hurting behaviors. You know,
Well,
what
the
are some of
obsessive compulsive stuff. I mean, I
Yeah.
want that to be able to do things in repetition. I want dogs to find value. Carol and I do a lot of things where the dogs have to do things
Yeah.
over and over and over because we're being so picky about stuff, just like you're picky about the retrieving, you know, and that's a benefit, but you sort of channel it all the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Know what you're getting into and be prepared to channel that. Okay. Proactive dog training.
Yes. The best ever.
Yeah.
The best.
That reaction.
Yes.
Loved it. All right. And the converse of that, reactive dog training.
Too late. All you.
Too
And then
late.
it gets all
Yeah.
negative because it's all
Yes.
It's all you're
Negative.
wrong. Yeah.
We're
Absolutely.
pissed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the thing has already been done. And you mentioned at self-rewarding behaviors. So when we're reactive with things, a lot of the times we have to override that self-reward somehow. So what's the difference between, Swanee, what's proactive dog training? What does that look like?
Proactive dog training is anticipating what the dog might do or encounter and working to fix it. So working to, or not to fix
Manage
it,
it.
working to manage.
Manage
That's
it.
the right
Yeah.
word. Yes, yes. Proactive dog training is fun. Like I love, it's like, okay, you know what? Let's go out and
Yeah.
do this. This is fun. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I'm going to
Whereas-
show you what to do.
Right. Whereas reactive dog training is, oh no, what have I done? And now I got to get after the dog, or
Yes.
it's just not good. So
Absolutely. So,
yes.
Steve, were you going to say something?
Well, I was going to say, I think we touched on this earlier, the idea of, the thought went out of my brain.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It just
That's a
went.
problem. You know what? I see it on the floor over
I
there.
think
And there was only
It just
one.
went. It just went.
One thought and you
No,
lost
no,
it.
it was really important. It was like the key to dog training. Darn it.
Oh,
you
it's
had
like the
all
meaning
the
of life.
answers.
The
All
meaning of
yes.
life.
Seriously, what? That
Isn't
never
it 40?
happens to
Oh, no,
me.
42 is something else, isn't
Yep.
it?
The meaning of life,
No,
yes.
it's seven. Isn't it seven?
7?
I don't know. I just thought that was.
I think it's something like about training your dog.
So what I was going to say.
Oh, it's back. It's back. It's back.
Oh,
It's back.
okay.
Okay. So talking about the idea of being proactive, we get stuck on these, and I think we talked about it earlier, the idea of these things, they randomly happened. He randomly stole something. Well, all of those things are predictable behaviors
they
when you
are.
really look at it. So that, identifying that allows you to be proactive because you know it's going to happen, like Swanee's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the analogy of a child crossing the street for this. So that was the thing I was going to pass over to you. So tell us what a proactive approach to teaching a child to safely cross the street would be.
I don't know. I just let my kid go. No, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I don't know if
Totally
that's
kidding.
Steve's parenting advice.
That's the reactive.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I'm the one to be giving that sort of training out here, just so you
He's
know.
only been hit 4 times.
The first
you
two don't
because
really
you have
count, though, because those are grays. No,
You have a school-age child that's still alive, so I figured you knew this.
yeah, so, the proactive part is literally just as simple as being aware of all the dangers, letting the kid, my son,
Yeah.
know about all the dangers first and helping them to be right every time. right?
Absolutely.
It's not letting him run into traffic and screaming mad at him because he ran into traffic. He didn't know.
That's
But
the
that
reactive.
said, I have a young son and he's not always as attentive as they could be.
Yes.
So every time we go to an intersection, hey buddy, did you check both ways? Make sure it's safe. So I'm already ahead of the game because I know sometimes he's going to make some mistakes.
And you're ready to grab him.
You're
thinking about it, right?
Yeah, you're ready to interrupt. You're ready to do whatever, but you're able to sort of say, okay, you got to pay attention every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a process too, right? So initially you're guiding them each and every time, you know, initially you're saying, remember to look both ways, remember to, okay, hold my hand, etc. And then you get to a point where you need to start giving them some confident independence. So you might be ready to grab them, but you might test to see what they do. And of course, if they make the right choice, you're going to acknowledge that. And if they make the wrong choice, you're going to stop that choice and help in a more proactive approach of helping them understand how to safely cross the street. So
my son won't hold my hand anymore when we cross the street.
well, that's why I didn't ask you.
I've tried, but he flings it away.
Especially when there's people watching. Right?
Well, you'd think you'd get like scout points for helping an old lady across the street.
That's what I'm going to tell him. It's not for you, Ty. It's for me.
It's for me.
Please help me across the street. I helped you when you were young. Help me now.
Oh my God.
Alrighty, this next one.
Okay.
Let's get littermates.
Oh.
Why would you do that to
Double
yourself?
everything.
That's just painful.
Yeah. We were just joking. One of the McCann quote unquote children is pregnant for the first time. Of course, she's far older than children. And we were just joking that maybe she had twins in there and her face dropped like, oh my gosh, I only want one baby. it should be similar feelings with littermates. Why? Why? Steve, why?
Well, I think the thought process is very noble. We have these cute little things and they'll grow up best friends and they'll do all these things together and that Disney model comes into it. But we know the reality of working one dog. Yeah. And then when you couple that with a second dog, let alone a littermate where there's already a relationship there, now we're just adding on all these complications and there's so much to it. I have in a multi-dog house for years, just as you all have. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
But it happens one dog at a time. Just save yourself the trouble. And again, I appreciate the thought. I appreciate people wanting to
Sounds good.
It sounds great. It really, really does. Just really think about that first.
Yeah, it only sounds good on paper. And then in practical reality.
Does it sound good on paper? How does paper sound? I'm not sure how paper sounds.
We actually, we coach a lot of students, and there's a lot of students who will reach out to us. We have a puppy prep guide. So before you even bring your puppy home, so a lot of students will reach out to us in that stage and say, well, I was planning on getting littermates. What do you think about this? And a lot of the times we coach them away from it. Carol, what are some of the other reasons that avoiding littermates is best advice?
One of the big ones is puppies and dogs bond so fast together, and they're so valuable. Think about your puppy and another puppy. That puppy is pretty valuable, but if all of their value goes to that other puppy, I become not so important, and it's not going to set me up for a very good relationship with my dog. So my dogs will interact and play, but they'll always choose me and they listen to me. So many people that get littermates have such a hard time. The dogs just don't listen to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll go on further because this has happened a number of times in class where we've had, like, let's say, excuse me, like mom and dad and grown kids don't get littermates in the same house, but they get littermates. And those puppies spend that same amount of time together. It's just the time, and as Carol talked about, the relationship that they have, and they develop so easily with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is twice the work, twice the frustration. And when that bond develops,
I would say it's more than twice.
The
it
work.
probably is. Yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. And when they develop that bond and there's that situation where one of them has to go to the vet and they're sick. If it's the right littermate that ends up being left behind, it can be disastrous for that littermate. So, you know, if you are getting littermates, you need to consider raising them separately as individuals to make sure that they have some confident independence and they're not so reliant on each other that you can't ever have them separated.
And avoid pressure. I know I had a PE puppy essential student, and they have the family's coming over, and the family, one of the children adult children have a dog, and they said, and I'm like, I wouldn't let them interact with your brand new puppy, especially it's a pretty big and it's an older dog. Have the puppy out, work, play with it with the other dog there, build that interest in you.
Yeah.
And I said, I know that people will say, oh, let's let him meet. And she said, oh, there's so much pressure, right? Everybody's, oh, bring your puppy over, your puppy over. Let's let our dogs meet. And it's just not the best thing.
No, it really isn't. And take the time to research that, because there's a lot of negatives that come along with having littermates, and there's a lot of negatives that come along with having young puppies raised together as well. Okay. Next one on my list.
Why do you keep looking at me?
I don't
keep
know,
looking at
because
me
you're right
like,
in front of my
like I'm going
eye
to blurt something like inappropriate.
It's a warning. It's a warning. I'm giving you that
I'm going to look over here.
preamble warning.
I'm going to look at Swanee.
No, actually, it's like a train wreck. You just can't look away, right?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That could very well be.
Swanee is on.
Swanee's got the zingers today. Holy cow. She's not letting anything go.
That has been said on the McCann Dogs podcast. I love it. All right. Alpha roll.
I was going to say the dog trainer
I
who's
was
made
gonna
it popular, but maybe I shouldn't.
I was going to swear,
Dangerous.
but I don't know if that's allowed.
I'm glad you refrained.
Horse hockey.
Horse hockey. That's a good one.
It's a
All
mash.
right.
That's a MASH reference. There you go. That's dating me too.
Carol, you're the only one who didn't blurt out anything insanely
She said
inappropriate,
dangerous.
so.
She said
I
dangerous.
said
Oh, right.
dangerous.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
Dangerous.
Carol
It
is
Right.
the voice of reason.
Luckily, we're seeing less and less of that.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
people are getting more educated, but it stems from a whole philosophy that dogs really evolved from wolves, and the whole way that leadership happened in a wolf pack, which has since been disproved by many, many studies.
Yeah.
So it's all not true, but the theory was you dominate yourself. So we used to have people come in and they've like, I did the alpha roll. So that was the proactive training.
Yeah.
You flipped your puppy
yeah.
over and pinned him down. But most people have heard of fight or flight. So puppies are going to, you've taken away the flight. So many dogs are going to react badly. And now your face is right down there. So it's certainly not building relationship with your dog at all. You're putting them in a very bad situation, and it's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Oh, I just had a fun idea.
Okay, let's do
wanna
it.
try it?
You want to alpha roll,
Well,
Steve?
I'm going to say next week at McCann's,
Yes.
we solve all our disputes with alpha rolls with the people.
Oh, that's fun.
So yeah, so we alpha roll people.
Ooh.
Yeah.
As soon as we stop recording, I'm alpha rolling all three of you. That's it.
I'm not out rolling a Swanee. She's deceptively wiry.
Yes.
I might get her initially, but I'm not going to be able to hold
I
on.
like-
Yeah,
Get
it's
in
true.
a
I don't
few
think you can
blows.
take her.
Yeah.
I'd like to extend it to the whole city of Flamborough, the whole town of
wow.
Flamborough. We all, as soon as you enter Flamborough for next week, you could be alpha rolled. Dispute with the grocery person.
How
alpha
are you
roll.
going to facilitate this?
I'm running for mayor of Flamborough.
Milkshake machine busted at McDonald's. Alpha roll.
Alpha
That's
roll.
it.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
it. Oh my goodness, everything. That's our answer for
Yes.
everything.
Oh, Lord.
Good leadership practices are crucial when you are raising a puppy, and they never include things like the alpha role or dominance theory. And unfortunately, the whole leadership thing, that we threw the baby out with the bathwater when we said, this dominance theory is now debunked. And a lot of times people think that means leadership has been debunked, and you don't need to be your dog's leader. You can be their best buddy, and you can be on the same level. And that is not true, of course, either. It's akin to saying that my 5-year-old child is on the same level as I am. We're there to be good leaders. We're there to give them good guidance. We are the ones that they're going to be looking to be shown direction and to show them that direction. So it doesn't include horrible things like alpha roll, but watch out for Swanee if you're loose in Flamborough.
Vote for Swanee.
Over the next couple of weeks. Oh my goodness. I think this has been one of the most fun episodes that we have recorded by far. So we're going to have to do this again. But for now, I think we are going to call it a day. So on that note, I'm Instructor Shannon.
I'm Instructor Carol.
I'm sometimes Instructor Steve, including today.
Instructor Swanee.
I'm hesitant to say that, though, because I might get alpha rolled.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're getting alpha roll. That's why I'm ending the podcast
As soon as this
now.
podcast ends, it's going to be chaos.
Okay, let's do a joint, everybody, all together. 3, 2, 1.
Happy training.
Happy training.
The McCann Dogs podcast is brought to you by McCann Professional Dog Trainers. We help dog owners to have a well-behaved, four-legged family member. Please give us a call at 905-659-1888 or visit us at mccanndogs.com. Happy training!